Φίλοι μου, γεια σας. Καλό απόγευμα σε όλους. Τον περασμένο Σεπτέμβριο, μέσα στα πλαίσια ενός project που ονομάζεται Winds of Change, έγινε με ιστιοπλοϊκό γύρο στις Κύπρου από 10 Κύπριους. Η ομάδα αποτελείται από 5 Ελληνοκύπριους και 5 Τουρκοκύπριους. Το όλο project, όπως είπα, ονομάστηκε Winds of Change, άνεμος της αλλαγής. Και σήμερα έχω μαζί μου δύο από τα παιδιά που έλαβαν μέρος, τον Ανδριανό Χαραλάμπους, ο οποίος είναι εδώ μαζί μου, και την Νilhan, η οποία βρίσκεται μέσω διαδικτύου λόγω κάποιου προβλήματος τεχνικού που προέκυψε την τελευταία στιγμή. Η Nilhan είναι Τουρκοκύπρια και δεν μιλάει ελληνικά, οπότε θα κάνουμε τη συζήτηση σήμερα στα αγγλικά. So, Nilhan, welcome again.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Andrianos, welcome as well. So, I made a short introduction in Greek, explaining what we're going to discuss about. And I would like to start with you, since you are not here. It's not your fault. And
no problem.
Can you tell us who is Nilhan? A little bit of your background.
Okay, that's a good question. Nilhan, I'll start with my profession because it's the easiest icebreaker to start with, but there is more to that, of course. I'm a pharmacist by profession. I'm currently practicing as a sports pharmacist, working with athletes and teams for their health performance and also protecting clean sports through anti-doping measures. On the flip side, I'm also an amateur athlete myself, a sailor, kite surfer, and runner. So I'm very passionate about sports and half Cypriot, half Turkish, but I identify more self. My internet connection is bad.
Till Nilhan is back online. Let's hear. We have a. Yes. Okay, backline. So.
Thank you, Christopher, for today.
You.
Let's get Christopher. My name is Andrianos, political communication specialist, a consultant. I'm on the way to my PhD. I want to study about environmental policies, politics and policies, and in the world have changed the way we see the climate in a minute way, climate crisis as I call it. And
recent member of Green Party.
I have been there for some years, and I've withdrawn from the party, the Secretary General of the Young Greens right now. I guessed, you know, more or less it's not an internet problem.
You are how old are you? 33 years old. Okay, so Nilhan is back online. Can you tell us this project? How did you come to know about it? Who told you, and how it all started?
It started about 2 years ago when Sofia Baba is the person that created this. She's a Cypriot Olympian, herself and her brother, Christopher Papamihalopoulos. They're both Olympians.
She's a doctor in Geneva.
She's a doctor in Geneva, yes.
In Zurich, so.
In Zurich, yes.
Yeah.
So she came a couple of years ago in Cyprus, and so she had to sports tied to each school. I was and she managed to initiate this project through the this is the main of the project. About the young people.
Right.
That so she's also an experienced sailor. So it was to come up with the sport that we.
So
of the was a human. The project was initiated. The
applications to where
hundreds of applications, and it quite beyond it. The thing, the application in the beginning was that you have to.
Yes,
and
you didn't have any.
Being a actually going to the next step in that, and because I've been since before I've been an activist in bi-communal projects, I wanted to take that step as well.
So and the idea was here she is. Okay.
I can hear you, but the connection is not very good. I hear your voice really bad. I'm trying to record from another device, so very sorry about that. But I can't see you, and I don't hear you well.
Okay, so about the you know, today Erdogan wins. I don't know if there is some evidence. Anyway, this is internet, and these things. I hope Nilhan will be able to get on and have the opportunity to listen to her part of the story. So stays come
phase one was actually building the team, and the team building happened as fast as possible from everyone.
Did you know the other participants? Any of them?
It was a great
no.
and integrating in different projects throughout the year. And I probably knew this. I didn't know anyone.
She from her mobile device, but again, the connection. There. And what was the procedure in blood test? What happened there? How was that? How did it take place?
It was and his challenge was to turn us into a team, to build our morale and to show us the way into believing that such a project can be possible.
Because were there exercises that you were making together?
Mostly mental training. The next the beginning, main building of character for each one of us. Of course, other physical exercises were involved as well, but Michael was there to help us build our own selves and in an extent to build the team through each member.
So it was like it was for you something that you never did before, team building process.
I would say that probably for me, in a way, it was most difficult because I've been in many trainings in my life, and I'm training myself. I train young people in European projects about youth empowerment and conflict resolution. So I do a lot of team building, most of the times facilitate. And Michael's approach was much different.
Let's take a short look.
Yeah, let's
here, we're having Nilay, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
You cannot see us. Okay.
No.
Yeah. not.
I've seen on YouTube that there may be some connectivity issues in the studio because there are some audience messages that they hear me well, but
We're having a break now.
Okay. We'll try again.
can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear us?
Okay. Yes, I do.
Try again. This is very bad luck, Nilhan.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so start talking.
We'll make up for it.
Go for it because the line will be interrupted. So tell us how did you find about this Wind of Change program?
It's my turn now.
Yes. Start.
Okay, sure. So I was trying to tell that I'm also like an amateur sailor. So I was looking for a crew to sail actually in Cyprus, and I was looking at north, south, any clubs that I can sail with. And during my research, I found out Winds of Change Instagram account, and it was just launched, I guess. There were few followers, not many posts. I found it very interesting. The name struck me. I got curious about it. And then I also saw Sophia is the founder of the project. So I started getting to know her, stalking her a little bit online. And I realized she's a medical doctor. She's a sailor herself, Olympian, so many common points. So I decided to follow her, also the project. But to me, in the beginning, the purpose of the project was not very clear because the moment I discovered, it was just launched. After a while, we decided to meet with Sophia just to be friends and make connections because of lots of common points. And she told more about the project to me. In the initial phase, I wanted to volunteer to support her launching the project, trying to help her in some different areas. Even though I'm a sailor, my goal was to contribute to such an important initiative. But as I get more involved, and also Sophia increased the age limit because I was above the age limit for the people that could join. So she increased the age limit and I was eligible to apply for the project. So I tried my chance and I got involved. And of course, when you get involved in a project and you experience it, the moment you start and how you see things change. So within the project, I realize it's beyond just sailing, and it's a way for me to contribute to the island because this island gave me so much. So doing this through sports was extremely interesting and exciting for me. So it was a perfect combination to make new friends, to sail around the island, but also get to know people more.
Nilhan, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where were you born?
Sure.
How old are you?
I was born and raised in Istanbul, Turkey. My father is Turkish-speaking Cypriot. My mother is from Turkey, in the north part of Turkey. And I was born and raised in Istanbul, lived most of my life there. And for me, Cyprus was a place where we visit to see our family most of the time. And my father left Cyprus
on vacations, on holidays?
Mostly for holidays, vacations, and family visits, and some family occasions. And my father left Cyprus for studying university. So he also left the island around the age of 20, 25 to study. So with the pandemic, actually, first my parents came because it was safer to be in the island, because it was more protected, I guess, compared to Turkey. And back then I was living in the Netherlands for my previous work. So we were able to work remotely. So I wanted to spend some time in the island while we were being able to work remotely. And I came for just a month, but then I stayed. This is my third year now. I decided to move. They always tell me, like, you once come and there is no return. And I think the island just got me. I just wanted to be here, exist here. And of course, the major contribution that Winds of Change have provided to me is to understand the island and the situations from an objective point of view through sports. As I mentioned, I came this island and my life have significantly improved and changed in many areas. So I thought if there is an opportunity for me to give back to this island, I'll try and take all the chances. And Winds of Change was one of them. And it matches my personality, my philosophies, and many things. So it's like a lifetime event experience.
Yes. Where does your father come from? From what part of Cyprus?
He was born in Nicosia. I guess the neighborhood is called Andrea, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Aios Andreas, yes.
Aios Andreas, yes, exactly. So that's where he was born. We actually visited his home on foot when we crossed the border. And then he grew up in Nicosia as well. But of course, he crossed the border where he grew up. But he is from Nicosia.
You grew up in Istanbul, right? So
I did.
Yeah. Were you aware or informed about the Cyprus problem and the division that exists on the island? I mean, did you have any idea? And also, did you know did you get to meet any Greek Cypriots, or you met them when you came here?
When I was studying as a pharmacist student, I was very active in European organizations through my university. And there I met Greek and Cypriot friends. And the first time I actually traveled abroad was to Greece, and there where I met my Greek and Cypriot friends. Obviously, we got on very well. They are my lifetime friends now. And then, you are always through education, or my family was not promoting some hate thoughts to me, never. But, I was born and raised in Turkey, and we have a certain education there. So I didn't have my own opinion. And when I returned back home from my trip to Greece, I asked my father, could you educate me? Because I think I have some thoughts that doesn't belong to me. So he educated me as I start to make more Greek and Cypriot friends, so I could have more an objective point of view, my point of view. So as I had more dialogues, get to know more friends, different point of views, I developed my own objective point of view. And yes, I have a very good Greek Cypriot pharmacist friend, And the first time, actually, I visited Limassol, and somewhere beyond Nicosia was Limassol for his wedding. And I was in a very special and authentic Cypriot wedding, where I was amazed by the tradition and things that we have, so many things that we have in common, even sometimes with the Turkish culture as well. So I felt like home.
Mm-hmm. So let me put Andrianos in our talk as well. Andrianos, we were talking before, but I will ask you again because we had this interruption. What was your experience with interaction with Turkish Cypriots so far? Not only in this project, but generally, before engaging in this, did you have any friends? Did you visit the occupied part? What was your experience?
First time I visited northern Cyprus, the north part of the island, was in 2004, like a few... 2004, I was 14 then. And my family was one of those families that were on the line on the first day.
Mm-hmm.
I did not go. Of course, they had their reasons to be cautious at the time, but when they did cross and they saw that there's nothing to be afraid of,
mm-hmm.
My father took the initiative to take me and my older brother with him. So my first experience was very early on, after the checkpoints opened. And I kept going. I actually studied for a couple of years at school, Turkish.
Really?
I was a really good student back then. I could actually communicate in Turkish, even though my Turkish Cypriot friends were making fun of me because I was I had the same.
That's not true. That's not true. That's a lie. We never make fun. That's a lie.
So yeah, but I forgot most of it because when we communicate,
is it an easy language or is it
very easy language? It's a very easy language.
It sounds difficult.
It might sound difficult, but it's a very modern language, and of course we have many
common. Yes.
It's as soon as you get the point of how it works. The technicalities of the language is really easy. It's really easy to learn.
Okay. All right. So, Nilhan, does your father know Greek, or do you know Greek words, or can you communicate?
I cannot have a conversation, but obviously I can say yasu, yasas, kalinihta, kalimera, like greeting words or just words to start the conversation. But I'm not fluent. My father is not fluent either, but obviously he knows few words. I also get to know few words when I have Greek and Greek-speaking Cypriot friends. I'm not fluent, but that's my goal. I'm gonna learn to speak Greek because I want to continue living in this island. It's a must.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about. I started talking with Andrianos about this team building process. I'm very much curious about this. So you have 10 people that are not known to each other, and how did this? Let's repeat what we said before. Now that we are back online, so that Nilhan can hear us as well.
So Nilhan,
how did it start? How did it happen?
So it was as we both mentioned. It was initiated by Sofia Mihalopoulos. She came up with the idea. She managed to present the project through the AOC young leaders, and she implemented the whole project which is still ongoing. Like we're in phase 4. Nothing has ended yet.
There is a documentary at the end of this.
Yes. Everything has been recorded from phase 1 to phase 3. Phase 4 is outreach, and we're looking forward to present the documentary in an occasion connected to the Paris Olympics. So it did start with an open application, and both myself and Nilhan were above the age limit, but thankfully The age limit was 18 to, was it 18 or was it 16?
18 to 30, if I remember.
To 30, yes.
First time it was 18 to 30. 30.
Okay. You are 34, 33, and she's 30.
Yeah.
Yes.
34.
Okay.
So we were both the people that said, okay, we can support, but yeah, yes, why not apply? You know, you never know what happens.
Yes.
And we met on the team building phase.
Nilhan, Andrianos told us before that the team building phase took place in Bladres, right?
Yes, yes.
So can you tell us what did it involve? How does this happen? What did you do? 10 people unknown to each other, so that you become obviously friends, and then you become teammates because you needed to work together for the sailing, right?
Yes.
There was Ivani as well.
Off the record. Actually, of course, that's a sporting event. So, I mean, we managed to build connections with Zvania. This was more like literally team building. It's a sporting event, so I want to mention this. But anyway, as I joke, that this was a very, I think now looking back, I realize how challenging the goal was. And I just wanted to congratulate Sofia for designing everything. We were participants, players of this game, but there was so many things that she has to think and plan and organize, not on her own, but she was leading most of the things with a great supporting team. But looking back, as you explained, people that don't know each other have a short time for team building. And then we also have a sailing training, and then we get on the boat and sailed around the island. Everything was very fast-paced, to be honest. And in Troodos, we didn't have, of course, we have been informed, but we didn't have all the details, obviously, because that's part of the planning and training. And so some things were, I don't want to call them a surprise, but unexpected. And as I was going to Troodos, I thought we probably have some education about sailing. But then when we were there, everything was about challenging ourselves, getting to know ourselves better. Everyone was challenged. I think the task was to be challenged so that you open up, and through that vulnerability, people can get to know each other a little bit better, like understanding our limits and can we go beyond them, because we had our facilitator Michael and few other facilitators from both Greek speaking and Turkish speaking sides. It was very challenging. I felt like emotionally drained, but then it's an empowering activity in the end. So that was very, I think the theme of the first phase was vulnerability, so that we got to know each other.
Okay, Andrianos, this challenging phase that Nilhan mentioned and opening up, did it involve discussing the Cyprus problem, or it was only personal things? I mean, did you hold discussions between you or the members as a team and talked about personal stuff? How was it?
We did not. Nilhan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember any occasion about discussing secret issues.
I can add one thing, nothing directly political, but when you open up, I think you talk about your traumas, and people who were born and raised in this island had some very recent trauma because of what has happened in their islands. They become refugees, for example, they migrated or they lost family members, many situations. But the point was not to discuss this, but these are traumas that people are carrying in this island. So, of course, when these were being shared, everybody shared their own experience. And as someone who hasn't born and raised in this island, to me, those were really interesting experiences to listen all of this from firsthand, personal experiences from all aspects and all perspectives. They were really valuable.
Okay.
So it certainly came up at some moments, exactly because it's a part of every and each one of us, and we experience it in different ways, and it comes out in different ways, and then this actually signifies our character and how we react on challenges. And of course, the context was a context that would bring this up. But it was mainly about building the team towards our common target.
And after this phase, then you went to the training phase to become sailors. And where did the training take place?
It began in Paralymni, Begafiko. So we had the initiative phase. We went on small boats, catamaran, and what was the other one called? The Optimist.
Sorry, where?
The
Optimist and catamarans, yes, little catamarans.
And of course, Nilhan went on the laser. It looked very scary, so I didn't go.
Which one?
Yeah, we all
What is the laser? Is a type of...
It is a very speedy boat. It's very sporty.
Okay.
And it looked quite...
how many days was the training?
How many?
2 weeks.
14 days?
It was
2
14
weeks.
days. Yes, and we had very small cabin.
And Nilhan, during the training, you were coming and going back home, or you stayed somewhere in a hostel, or all the team, all of you?
We stayed together in a nearby location, and then we had part of the training in Paralymni, and then part of the training in Carpazi area.
Oh, okay. So, how was the training for you? You told me you had prior experience as a sailor, right?
Yes.
So it was easy?
I cannot call it easy, because the goal for me, I think it was easy for me compared to other colleagues, friends, team members, sorry, because with my prior sailing knowledge, my goal was to become a team and to work in harmony in the boat and have a conversation. All of us have different personalities. To be honest, everyone has a different personality. I don't think anyone is similar in the team. I think Sofia did a really great job there. It's like a rainbow of people from all colors and backgrounds. And my goal was to be on the boat and be a team and listen to the captain and observe what can we do. But other members of the team, most of them didn't have prior sailing knowledge. Some of them did. So if I would be in their position, I would find it a little bit more challenging. But through this challenge, we built really good communication skills in such a short time, because being on the boat is no easy. Sometimes you have a challenging moment that you have to solve, listen to the captain and work as a team. So it was fun, not hard.
So this boat is wind driven, right? It doesn't have any mechanical...
It does.
Yeah. It does have mechanical support.
It's primarily it uses the wind to sail. So did the training involve like lessons about the wind, how you utilize the wind while sailing, and other tricks of the profession?
We have Christopher to thank for the theory, the lessons on theory.
Who's Christopher?
Christopher is Sofia's brother. He's also
okay.
And he's again he's a skipper. He's a very experienced sailor, and he's a trainer as well. And he managed in a very short time to teach us all that we needed to complete successfully, thankfully, this trip. And then in practice, we put everything in practice, and we saw how the sails should be positioned, so we can have speed, how we can turn, how can we signal to other ships, and so on.
Nilhan, who was cooking on the boat? I mean, how were you eating?
We had shifts, and one group we had 6 hours shifts, and we were 2 groups on the boat. We were not on the same shift with Andriano on the boat. We were on the boat together, And
you slept on the boat, right? And it has place to.
Yeah, it has rooms that we shared with in two groups. So the person who finishes the shift prepares either breakfast or the lunch or the dinner. So we were always exchanging shifts and cooking in groups. I was very lucky that Andriano was on the boat. He's a great cook. He did really good dishes for us. And we didn't have any problems about the food. We always had good nutrition.
What was the menu? What were you cooking?
I seriously can't remember.
I mean, you can cook anything, or do you have a specific like dry foods? And is there like a protocol that you need to follow in such events? Or
of course, because we didn't know the exact duration of the project, we have to take dry food with us, canned food, and so on.
You didn't. I mean, wasn't it known in advance that it would take 4 days?
We could only speculate. So we knew the weather, how it would go, but we didn't know what challenges we would face, and we didn't know if the wind would change. You cannot know everything before, so we had to prepare for every scenario.
Okay, and you were in shifts of 5 people or 6? How?
So it's something that we didn't mention in the beginning. When we went for the team building, the idea was to be 6 people. Like 6 people would be chosen out of the 10 to be on the ship. But because it has been so difficult to choose between the participants, Sophia took a very brave step, and she asked us if it's possible for everyone to go on, and we would find a second boat, which she did find a second boat. Let's not get into this. It's so complicated. Like so many phases, so many different challenges, so many things to choose, to think upon, and so on. So we ended up being 2 teams on the same boat. One team was taking a shift, and one was getting a rest, and so we all did our part.
Nilhan, when this thing started on the first minute, what did you feel? What was the energy with the members, with the teammates, with you? What were you thinking about?
At the moment we got on the boat, I felt I felt like I'm going to an excursion and I'm going to discover a new land or something. That was the feeling. I was very excited to be on the boat, and lots of unknowns. Of course, we organized and planned of most of the things, but you're on the sea. There is always unexpected, unanticipated things. So to me, I felt like a discoverer.
Andrianos, the same question to you. How was the feeling? What was the energy there when you started? When the whole thing?
Well, I tend to overthink things, so I went on the boat prepared for everything. So I'm also experienced athlete. Did decathlon in the past, and I have to go back into training to run my next marathon. I finished 2 so far, but it has been a few years.
Which marathons did you run?
It was one in Cyprus and one in Athens.
Okay.
2013.
Okay.
I went on the boat, prepared for anything to help the team and whatever was needed.
Okay. So you start from Larnaca and you go to Famagusta, Carpathia, or all the other way around? You went to Nilhan, tell us what was the route to Limassol?
From Larnaca to Limassol, to Paphos, and then Lasci, and we stopped in Lasci because we were two different crews, and one crew, half of the crew sailed from Larnaca to Lasci, and in Lasci we stopped, and then there was a crew change, and me, Andrianos, and other crew members on our crew got on the boat. From Lecce, we continued to Omorfo, Güzelyurt, and then Kirinya, Girne, and then Karpazia, and then Famagusta, and all the way back to Larnaca.
Mm-hmm. And while you were doing the trip and the sail, were there any unforeseen problems, like technical things, or with the sea, the wind, or did everything go as planned?
The only unfortunate part was wind was not very strong. So we partially sailed, and sometimes we had to start the engine. But that was the only unfortunate situation. We enjoyed going around the island. We didn't have major events.
So how did you spend your time on the boat, Andrianos? Like on the time that there was no work to do, what were you doing?
Well, there is a lot of thinking to do. Actually, it was
thinking or things to do.
Mostly thinking. As Nilhan mentioned, we didn't have strong winds.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually looking forward for some bad weather, the kind we see in movies. So we did sail, and late at night, at one night, we didn't have enough wind, so we had to start the engine for some time. But you asked for the wind, and what did we learn about the wind? We found ourselves 3 days in the training. Julia, which is also, she's 19 now. She's an experienced windsurfer.
Mm-hmm.
And she started coming up with the routes, and we joined, everyone joined. Gürtel as well, he has some sailing experience. And we said, okay, we should go this way, upwind, like towards the wind in the beginning, when we would be relaxed and not tired. And then we would go on the section between Libera and Karpaz, which the wind would push us.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be very tiring. This line was very easy to pull off. No turns, so it was just a straight line.
Okay.
So except of cleaning and cooking and so on, we were staring at the horizon, enjoying the view of the sea and Cyprus, Pendalaskylos mountains, and did some talking and thinking with each other.
Nilhan, was there any, like an escort, if something happened, like doctors or anything with the boat, or you were alone?
We were alone, and we had our doctor on the boat. Sophia is a medical doctor, and of course, I'm a pharmacist, and we had our medical kit. So we also had experienced skippers on the boat. In addition to Sophia is also a skipper. We have Christopher and we have Nigel. So we had 3 skippers who were leading the journey, and they have trainings and education in first aid. So we didn't have any events, anything. I think, I mean, we had a very safe and non-eventful journey. We were counting we were guessing what's the shape of the clouds after some point, because the speed was too low, so we were not going as fast as possible. So we spent like a lot of time in a single spot that we discovered all the hills and the clouds and everything. But of course, we were doing the shifts. So when the other team is not on the shift, that team is resting, because I think Andrianos was on the unhumanly hour shift. Unfortunately, they were doing the shift in the night.
What was the
I'm a bartender, I can't take it.
It's okay for you. Actually, it's okay.
You have your phones. Could you connect to the internet and talk to your friends, relatives, or not?
No, phones were about photography on the boat.
Okay.
We didn't have.
Like you were isolated for the whole thing.
Yes, but it was not that long. Like we enjoyed most of the part, not being able to communicate with inner world, but we were the outer world.
Okay, so Nilhan, when this thing came to an end and you came back to Larnaca, did you feel the same about the people, about the teammates? Did you feel the same way, or was really a new connection, a new bond between you? I mean, did this teamwork thing really worked?
It did, because also there was this moment where around, I think, Larnaca, sorry, not Larnaca, in Paralimni, nearby Paralimni, where we actually practice, nearby Vegafigo Sailing Club, the crew who left in Lachi got on the boat. So we were able to arrive to Larnaca as the full crew, all the members of the crew. So us getting together was really exciting. And we felt very proud, very bonded. And we sailed from Paralimni to Larnaca together. And that's what we were hoping for. But in the end, for the whole journey, but even for the short leg, we experienced that. It was a very proud moment. And we had a water show when we arrived to Larnaca. That was a surprise to us. And we really felt proud and happy and lots of feelings. It was like a roller coaster to me, lots of emotions as we arrived. But we are lifetime friends now, in my opinion, all of us.
Yeah. Do you still have talk to these people? Do you have communication and everything?
Of course. We are lifetime friends. Some of us have shared different things, like I have a kite surfer friend. Sometimes we manage to do sports together. So different connections occurred after the event as well.
There is a friend, Melek Kaptanoglu, that he's sending his greetings, and he says, yes, we are supporting and we are family.
She was part of the thing.
Hi, Melek.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
And Yannis as well. Yannis Minas.
Yannis.
There. He's also part of the team.
Yes. Andriane, one of the reasons of this project was one of the problems that this project tried to solve is the lack of interaction and the lack of communication between the two communities in Cyprus. So first of all, do you feel that there is lack of interaction?
Definitely. We should and we could have had more communication, much more communication.
Why can't we do it?
Why? Because we don't get the incentives to do so. And Nilhan mentioned the system, the education system, and how it actually puts us apart rather than putting us together. I've been part of many initiatives that we're trying to making serious efforts to bring young people together throughout the island. Not only young people, but people, Cypriots, together and communicate. Hade is one of them. Hade has been now a great job bringing people together to communicate and discuss. But this is initiatives that have been initiated by Cypriot citizens, by the civil society, and not by the states or
not officially.
Yes. And this was one more, and this actually had one more element, which is very, very important, which is setting a common goal together that might seem impossible because no one did sail around the island before.
Yes.
So it was very, very important to show that together with the agenda of a common goal, which is based on sports, we can do this. And I've also been in part of the Cyprus coastline hikers, which we did hike, we did walk around the island a few years back, as a boat by a community.
Okay.
This is something that boosts the message that connected together we can escape every challenge.
So Nilhan, what's your take on this? What do you think about? Do you believe that there is lack of interaction and that we could be more in communication the two communities. And also, let me ask you, do you feel Cypriot, given that you were born in Istanbul and you had a different...
I'll start with your latest question. That's what I was trying to say. The first moment we connected, and somehow the connection went off. I always felt more Mediterranean than, I don't know. I always felt a good connection whenever I was coming to travel here, or maybe the family members that I have here. I have a different bond and connection, and that's the reason when I had a job in the Netherlands and a life, I decided to suddenly change and move here. It's a feeling that it's hard to explain, although I spent most of my life in another country. I feel Cypriot, but there are so many things to learn about the island, about the culture. So I'm a Cypriot in training.
And Sophia is sending us her love from Zurich. Proud of you, she says. Thank you, Sophia, and congratulations to Sophia for this great initiative. And I hope that we get the chance to have her as a guest sometime when she comes to Cyprus. So thank you so much. And Nilhan, about the other aspect, about the interaction between the two communities, what do you think about that?
This is my first bicommunal project. I haven't been involved in other projects before, obviously. And to me, through Winds of Change, I also discovered about the other initiatives, and they are really good bringing people together. But sports is always unique, I think. This is my subjective point of view. Creating this kind of different platforms by changing the perspective or changing the goal, because the problem is the same, and if you try to solve the problem with the same things, it doesn't work. It never works. So if you change the path, the perspective, the goal, it's like, you know, in our bodies, if you do things, your nerve becomes a line, it becomes a connection, and then it becomes a habit. So if we apply the same in our lives, try to build different connections, I think we can make progress from a different point of view. This is how I felt. I also had my own worries about, you know, I mean, there is the goal, but would there be any political issues that I cannot maybe contribute to, because I never was born and raised in this island. So I had my own concerns. Would I be the weirdo person in the team? But I never felt that way. And maybe being a bit more objective in the situation helps me to understand and have my own point of view. To me, this is the success, one of the successful outcomes of this project. The goal was sports, and it brought us together. And that's already a good success.
Andrianos, the lack of interaction, one of the consequences is that it's not possible to cultivate and share a common vision as well with the other community. I mean, we are two parallel worlds in such a small island for so many years. And do you think that this type of projects and this type of activities can help create a common vision? And on the boat, did you discuss things about your future, the future of Cyprus, how things could be if the island is reunited, how this will help people?
I actually believe it's a kind of misconception that we are with two parallel worlds, because exactly we live on the same island, and the context is more or less the same. Definitely, Greek Cypriots have less challenges to face than Turkish Cypriots, because living on a European state, everything. When you talk to Turkish Cypriots, it looks like everything is going for you. But other than that, issues that we've discussed, societal issues, and of course the trauma that we have to face because of the conflict, and how governments or so-called governments react on each side, and the challenges that we have to face with inflation, and the jobs we can work in Cyprus or going abroad. Of course, something that comes up very often between young people in Cyprus is migration. Ourselves going out of the island, not other people coming in. And of course, yes, it came up that several times when we come together, common themes, it always comes up that this land, this island, Cyprus, can be very, very, so much better if the issue is solved and we all live together and we can face the same challenges on the same side, not from one side or the other, because it's common challenges, and we can overcome them as we did sail around the island.
Nilhan, can I ask you this, in your circles where you live, in the professional circle or with your friends, do you discuss the Cyprus issue? Is it something that you discuss daily, for example? The fact that the island is divided, that we need to find a solution, or is it something that it's not in your daily discussions or agenda?
It is, but sometimes directly, sometimes indirectly, because of the status of a northern part. We have less access to many things, sometimes internet, sometimes electricity. I mean, of course, we don't live in a cave, but we have some issues. And this, or economy, or the inflation rate, education, politics, like there are things that have influence in our daily lives. And when this influences hurts you in some way, then it becomes a topic. And then you realize that you're missing out on some of the things, and that this could be different, and it could be even better, because it's such a beautiful and nice island with great people. So that comes to the table when you have an influence in your daily life. But this is my point of view. Maybe other people will have different influences.
Something that came up very often was the environmental issue, because it's even more clear at that point that you cannot have environmental policy in Paphos and not have an environmental policy in Morpho, or have an environmental policy in Karpaz and not have one in Paralimni.
It's a two-speed situation.
So it is one issue that has to be solved because it's such a small place and it's a challenge. It's a very good example of a challenge.
Andrianos, the same question to you. You are a young person. In your with your friends and everything, do you discuss the Cyprus problem every day? Is it something that is on your list, on your agenda?
Well, I wouldn't take myself as an example on that because I do actually, it comes up, I would say daily, yes. And being a person that was born and raised in Nicosia, I've been very active in the historical center within the walls Nicosia. I'm always next to the checkpoint, next to the green line, the buffer zone. Has so many names. So it touches me a lot. I live every day through the thought of how could be so much better if this was not an issue. So yes, it always comes up, but I don't think that I'm part of the majority out there.
You don't think? So you think the average Greek Cypriot has not on his agenda, on her agenda?
It even depends on the regions. Yes. I wouldn't expect any person in Limassol to come in a discussion every day about the Cypriot issue, or a young person in Paphos or Larnaca. It's so much more prominent in Nicosia. And of course, we have so many other things going on. The perception that I share with friends that everything is connected, education, financial issues, and So the environmental issues are so much connected to the Cyprus problem, to the Cyprus question. But I don't expect everyone to share this view.
Yeah. You know, Nilhan, I grew up in the period that it was not possible for each side to visit each other. The line, as you know, opened in 2003. And the first time I had interactions or I met a Turkish Cypriot when I went to the university in the UK, and there were some Turkish Cypriots from Nicosia. They are studying as well. And what struck me was as very stupid and unreasonable was the fact that we could meet thousands of miles away from our island in England, but in Cyprus we couldn't meet in 1995, 1996. It was impossible. So things have changed now. There is freedom of movement. Do you come to the part, the southern part of Cyprus, in the Republic of Cyprus? Do you visit? Do you have friends here? And if yes, how do you see any differences between the two sides?
I do visit, sometimes for work, sometimes for leisure, and for sports as well, because I'm a kite surfer. Kite surfing. I'm a kite surfer. So time to time I come to Larnaca, Limassol to surf. When there are good winds, we really enjoy coming. It's like a little holiday for us. And when there are nice concerts and some things, there is a major difference in many aspects.
In what way? I mean, what would be the principal three differences that...
access to things in general, like having access to, I don't know, for some people, they have kids that are receiving their education, access to jobs, access to goods, materials that usually don't have here. It changed, but the main word is access. And some things that are more developed, obviously, because there is the European Union aspect. Even the roads are really good. I mean, in simplicity, that is really good. And other than that, I think, of course, maybe because it's more European parts, that it's more, there are people with different backgrounds and coming from different countries, so it's a little bit more international. That's how I experience it. That's my perspective. So those are the main three differences.
But you know, there are parts of Cyprus, like, for example, if you go to Limassol, it's like going to another country. So
we have the same situation in Turikomos.
Yeah. Every time I go to Limassol, I think I am somewhere else. I don't know if you have this.
Nilhan just mentioned that there are examples in the north as well, like Trigomo. We've seen how it's being developed.
So what's your take when you go on the north part? What are the differences that you notice?
Well, it's been so many years. I've been. I agreed with myself and some few more friends to not think about differences, similarities, because it's a common island, and when we spend time with our friends on our island, it's one island, it's one people, and not many differences except of technicalities. And I think Nilhan has covered that issue.
Nilhan, should we be optimistic about the future of Cyprus?
I think we should be. I really hope our generation will at least achieve a progress, so that we can at least move. We can move basically from some of the bottlenecks. Finally, I have hope because the generation is changing, the expectations are changing, the world is changing, so we have to change. And this doesn't work for what future is bringing for us. So if we don't want to become an outdated society in many ways, we have to overcome this. Otherwise, we may be in trouble as a society. It's for development and the welfare of Cypriots, in my opinion. That's how I see as a healthcare professional.
Andrianos?
Well, there is hope. There is hope. Because if there was no hope, why even try? So even if sometimes it feels that we're kind of pushing it a little bit, like we're trying to get hope out of almost nothing. It's a bleak environment right now. We've said many times this is our last chance. I've been politically active since I was 14. An plan was something I did study when I was 14, and I had my own views on it. And every time that another opportunity comes up, two more leaders go on discussion and they come back empty-handed. Of course, hope is damaged, but there is still hope. And of course, those initiatives and other initiatives that are ongoing right now, many other initiatives within civil society, are the ones that keep the flame alive.
Yeah, I think that for things to change, we need to wait till generations change. The people that handled the Cyprus problem so far are people in their 70s, in their 80s, in their 60s. It's the generations that lived before 1960. They lived the war in 1974. And they have a totally different perspective. People in your age and Nilhan's age that were born after 1974 and did not live through the difficult years, and I would say till 1990. It was a very hard transitional period for Cyprus for both sides, I guess. So my only hope is that when generations change, the mentality will change, the approach, and something may happen there. Otherwise, I don't see any light with the current, the people that are handling the matter. And I'm not talking about persons. I'm talking about the culture of the people that govern in all Greece, Turkey, Greek Cypriot community and the Turkish Cypriot community.
Well, it is still connected. It is very important, first of all, for our generation to learn about what happened in the past, not in the way we have been learning so far. So have the proper information about what happened in order to come together, conciliate, communicate with each other, see what our future lies, how it lies in front of us, and how we can communicate and avoid mistakes that others did in the past and still affect us until today. It's very important to know. And what is going on right now, again, with education, that is giving us the education of what happened, the information of what happened, is something that does not help our generation to go forward. Like, if the generations change and our mindset stays as it is,
the same, then it's yes.
Yeah.
So, Nilhan, my final question is, do you have any plans to be involved in politics or anything, or you will remain in pharmacy and in sports?
I'm involved in pharmacy politics. That's a political way to say it.
What is the price of medicine in there? Is it cheaper or more expensive?
Of course, compared with the currency, it becomes quite cheaper here. compared to South.
Okay. So no involvement in politics for you.
Maybe I can. I mean, that's like partially joke, partially true. I have, for example, I work with University of Nicosia and supporting the master's student there as a supervisor. So I always use my roles beyond my identity, or whether I'm Turkish Cypriot. I'm a pharmacist, I'm a kite surfer, I'm a supervisor. I use these roles to make connections. That's how I lived since I started my profession. And I'll continue to do that. And then I think that's more social involvement in politics from a different point of view. If I make connections, I want to be in this island. I don't want to be isolated in one part of the island. So I'm trying to break the status quo with the things that I know very well. And that's pharmacy, that's sports, anything that is involving these topics. I'll use my competencies to make something good for this island. That's how I put it.
See, Andrianos, are you going to be involved in politics more?
Well, I am involved in politics. I have served as the president of the Youth Parliament in Cyprus. I'm the Secretary General of the Young Greens. I believe that it is one of my missions. I want to teach. I want to be academic, and I want to help to change the political environment in Cyprus.
Okay, so first of all, Nilhan, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank
it
you.
was great to have you. Of course, I would prefer if you were here if someone did not mix up the dates. And the scheduling that we did, but I'm sure that we will get together here sometime in the next few weeks.
Sure.
We did have some technical problems for this podcast, but we managed to overcome them. So this shows some determination.
Very essential.
And do you enjoy Greek and Cypriot food? Not Greek, Cypriot food. What's your favorite?
Well, I like any tavernas or like mezes or kebabs, anything that is very similar to us. I always enjoy any type of Cypriot foods, and I think my favorite is Şeftalia.
Şeftalia, yes. I mean, this is what everybody says.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Was Yannos in your crew as well? Yannos Mikhail?
Yeah.
No. Okay, Yannos sent a message that not just sports between us, we have no difference, it's just we need to get rid of all politicians that are dealing with the issue. Anyway, I would like to thank both of you, thank all the participants that sent messages. We are very sorry for the interruptions. I will try to connect the dots and upload the episode again tomorrow. Meanwhile, you can view it on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter after we end this live broadcast. Nilhan, thank you so much again. I hope to see you in person. Say hello to everybody there. I hope you are everything is fine. Andrianos,
thank you.
The same with you. And I mean, this was I have asked many Turkish Cypriots in the past for a podcast. It was not possible to do it. You are the first one, so
wow, that's
thank
great.
you so much for it. And
my pleasure.
You bring me good luck.
For sure. I have my evil eye here, so we have luck here. No problem.
Okay, so thank you to our viewers and have a good night. Bye-bye.